was 5 years old on my way home with my little fishing bucket. The men were still out there, scouring the black waves, lit by cedar torches. I saw them harpoon this enormous creature twisting out of the water, exposing a wound on its white belly. I felt I was witnessing a murder. Are these sounds the voices of fish? The source is underwater, without any air bubbles visible on the surface. The noise could emanate from mucus in the gills or the mouth, maybe the deflation of the swim bladder.
In the old days, the company, they could reject their waste directly in the river. Now we have the wastewater treatment plants, but whatever is dissolved in the water when we go to the toilet will still go to the river.
So André Napoleon's description about fish vocalizations was accurate, and underwater sound does reflect a thriving marine life.
In the sample of clear water like this, we can find some pesticide and herbicides such as atrazine that is known for having endocrine disrupting effects. For the molecules I'm looking at, there's some literature that would give example of impact. For example, mussels that the old population will be female because of hormones. There's some antidepressant that cause lack of fear in some fish larvae, so they won't run away from predators, so they will be eaten. And there's some chemotherapy agent that will cause cancer development in some aquatic organisms.
I know, well, people are not necessarily familiar with emerging contaminants, but the information is out there.
Hi, I'm Marc-Antoine and this is my sampling gear.
I grab the sample, so we call it grab sample, and then I bring it back to the lab, put it in the fridge or in the freezer, and then wait until I do the analysis.
Looking for nothing more great.
So the system here is a manifold, and we will use it to purify and pre-concentrate our sample. So what we would do is to take an exact volume of our sample and pass through the cartridges that has an affinity with our compound, so it can be extracted and we can inject it on the analytical system. So we've placed our sample in the tray here, so the auto-sampler can pick up an exact volume and inject it to the system with the pump that will, with the solvent, direct our sample to the chromatographic column that will separate our different constituents and inject it to the mass spectrometer. So here we can see the different masses that the spectrometer is analyzing, and we can filter them to look at pharmaceutical, for example, and we can see in the sample that there is some ibuprofen and some caffeine, for example. When you see clear water, you can tell that there's no excess of nutrients, but you cannot tell if there's some dissolved organic contaminant because these won't affect the appearance of the water.
The presence of pesticides, pharmaceuticals, and other toxic chemicals in our water system is a growing concern, and it's getting monstrous. This is in plain sight.
Yeah, so this book is called Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. It's been written in the 60s, and it was on the impact of DDTs on bird species and their eggs, and it was an early example of the impact of emerging contaminant on the environment.
Apart from writing, André Napoleon had a passion for angling. 20 years later, his son Edward Montpetit will be as passionate about education at University of Montreal on the Mountain as a faculty founder and its first general secretary.
Regulation and restriction, it's always changing. And it's funny how André Napoleon, even if he was passionate about fish biology, he was practicing sport fishing. And maybe one day it won't be allowed, maybe fishing will be only for scientific purpose. I hope maybe one day, like in Europe, the restriction on environmental policies will be more strict.